Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about DC TV shows. I've not introed this show in a while, clearly, because I'm going to add a different intro.
Yeah, and it's a proper show again.
It's a proper show. We have new episodes of things to talk about, which is insane. We got a little bit of news. We only get 2 shows this week, which is obviously weird, because typically if we have less than 4, we'll put in some back catalogue stuff to flesh it out. However, Connor's going on vacation tomorrow, so we had to sneak this in very quickly. So we're talking about The Flash, and we're talking about Black Lightning, the season premieres. We'll get to those a bit later, and we'll be talking about those. And then this episode will be a day early this week, and then next week it will be at least a day late. So the normal day for this to go up will be a Friday, because normally we'll record on a Thursday, it'll go up on a Friday. This week we're recording on a Wednesday, it's going up on the Thursday. Next week it'll be up on Saturday at the earliest, because we'll be, catching back up on everything that's been on in the next week.
Yeah, I have to watch all of them when I get back,
Yes.
on top of everything else.
Yes, which does mean if it's past Friday, it does mean there'll technically be a second Titans out before the episode goes up. That's kind of weird, I get that, but just roll with it, it'll be in the next episode.
We'll catch back up, and it'll be back on schedule.
Yes, exactly. Because next week we'll have a lot more shows, because Supergirl starts this Sunday, Arrow's on next Monday, so, there'll be a ton of shows next week. But, so this episode...
The week after will be even more.
Yeah, exactly. So this episode is just Flash, Black Lightning, and some news, because there was news from New York Comic Con and some juicy tidbits. Let's talk about some images first. I want to talk about two images we got in the past week. One, the less interesting one was Lobo from Krypton.
Huh. Yeah.
That's you forgot about it. He looks fine. He looks like Lobo.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said the picture looks a little cheap there, but I think that's just a promo image thing. When he's on screen, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Which is actually something I'll say about the other one, which is the Batwoman image of her in costume, is the background looks cheap as shit. Obviously, she's just on a green screen, but this cheap-looking city, the bat signal in the sky looks so just like cut out and just pasted on. It's terrible.
But the difference is, I don't think the costume looks cheap.
The costume looks good. I think the big thing for me, I'll get my nitpicks out of the way, actually. Okay, I'd like red boots and gloves. I'm disappointed there's no red boots and gloves. That seems to just be a constant thing. Other than Superman, no one seems to get, in movies and TV, no one seems to get their different coloured boots or gloves. It's weird.
They don't, do they?
It's bizarre. And then the other thing, this is less a criticism and more of an observation, but the cowl is more of a traditional bat ears, as opposed to Batwoman's cowl from the comics, where it kind of goes up and sort of like more almost triangly. Yeah. It's more of a traditional bat thing. But you do have the red wig on full show outside the cowl, and you do have the red bat logo. And I think the big thing for me here is the texture. I know this sounds weird, but one of my big gripes with some superhero costumes, and the Flash has been guilty of this, is the leather jacket look to the outfit.
Yeah, this does not look like leather this time.
No, it looks like more of a tactical suit, but not like a rubbery suit either, which I really appreciate.
So I'm just having another glance at it now, because it's been a couple of days, and one of the things I'm really noticing now is I really like the translucent red on the back of the cape at the bottom. It's like, okay, there's no red gloves and boots, and that's
It's a nice touch.
Mildly disappointing. But it's not all black. There's this that translucent red at the bottom of the cape that looks really nice.
Still got the red belt as well. That's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
That's a nice little touch to value to the cape, actually. I like it, because one of the reasons why I think Supergirl's outfit's so good, not only is it authentic to the comics, pretty much, is that I think that's the right material. It's like, it's even better than, say, like, Lois and Clark with that thin spandex. Like, this has got a texture to it.
This is a proper fabric.
Yeah, it looks like a real thing that's made out of fabric, but it's not the ridiculous armor rubber that like Man of Steel Cavill has.
No, I agree. And do you know what makes me feel really positive about this image?
Mm-hmm.
This is a promo image, and every single promo image we've had for CW suits, the real version in the show has ended up looking better.
That's true.
Every time. So if it looks even better on screen than this image, hey, we're in for a treat with this.
Yeah, they light it appropriately. We're in business.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's a good point. So no, it's really good. Those are a great caution. Now we did talk about a lot of the other stuff I'm about to mention on the TV news. If you don't follow our TV news podcast, Almost Cancelled TV News, you can
Shame on you.
You can get that on the Mail Fuzz Movies and TV News feed, or obviously on the YouTube channel. So we'll talk about obviously a lot of that on there. But I do want to mention that the DC Universe schedule was put up at New York Comic Con. And it's basically showing you how all the shows are like lining up like one after the other over the next year. So we got Titans, of course, starting this week, and that runs until the end of December. And then we're getting half of Young Justice Season 3, which seems to be 2 a week given the size of the blocks, because this will still be 13 episodes, and it's only taking up half the time that Titans' 12-episode run is. So it seems to be 2 animated episodes a week. And then after that, first half of that, there's Doom Patrol for 3 months. And then the second half of Young Justice is there, overlapping with the full season of Swamp Thing. And then when that ends, which ends around the end of August, start of September next year, Stargirl starts up. And it's halfway through Stargirl, sometime mid-October, when Harley Quinn, the animated show, starts up, which overlaps that. So it seems like from there, it might always be animated overlapping live action, assuming they have the next live action thing ready. I think the only reason why the first half of Young Justice is on its own is just to buy them some time to get Doom Patrol ready.
Doom Patrol's not quite ready, and I don't think all of Young Justice is finished yet either, otherwise they'd just air it continuously.
Yeah, I think once they're in the cycle of having a lot of shows and they've got season 2s coming and stuff like that,
that'll be fine.
I think it'll be always one a live action show, and whenever there's an animated show, it'll just be on top of that, and that'll be your service.
And assuming this all goes to schedule, nothing gets delayed, which is possible. They even said when they announced this, it's subject to change. We will never have an episode of this show again that doesn't have at least one new episode.
That is true, yeah. Next summer, when we're doing Smallville, Lois and Clark, and Batman the Animated Series, we'll have at least a Swamp Thing episode.
Yeah, like in theory, every week we will have something.
So that's cool. That's really cool. Let's just hope the shows are good. That's the only concern now.
Yeah. Titan still looks terrible.
Although the LA buzz online is surprisingly positive now.
I don't trust them.
I don't trust it either, but that Rotten Tomatoes score, I mean, it's only like 7 reviews, but it's still only one's negative. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, has that changed? And obviously, when we checked that, it was a little while ago now, right?
Yeah, a little while. Maybe it's updated.
I'll have a quick glance now when it loads. Okay, we've got more in. We're on 19 reviews now.
Oh,
Can you remember what the percentage was before?
I believe because of the way it worked out, because it was only 7, I think it was like 87%.
It's gone down slightly.
To what?
It's 84. 16 fresh, 3 rotten.
84 on 19 reviews ain't bad. I'm not getting hyped or hopeful because the trailer looked like garbage, but it's a sign of hope.
No, I'm looking at some of the ones that are the positive ones. We got The Verge, Newsweek, Cinema Blend, Washington Post, IO9.
Yeah, we've heard of these places. These aren't nobodies.
No, these are legitimate. Negative ones, I see Paste Magazine, I see the Mary Sue, and the third one's not immediately showing me on the front page. It must have been the older one. Screen Rant. Okay. So
interesting. Yeah. I'm curious. Obviously, we've heard that. I mean, apparently Batman in the show is a killer, and that's why Dick's pissed at him, which I don't like because Batman shouldn't kill, but he's not going to be there. So at least
that's true. I'm looking at the full list now and seeing some of the other positive ones that weren't on the front page. You got IGN, Nerdist, Den of Geek, Forbes, CBR.
You know what? This will be the biggest upset ever if they pull this off. If we go from that trailer to it actually being good, I will be amazed.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened occasionally where we've had a bad trailer and liked the show. Not specifically DC related, but I'm thinking something like The Exorcist TV show.
Hey, I'll give you a DC one. Krypton.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah.
Although at least with Krypton, we were down on that from the original announcement.
Oh, true.
And the trailer brought us up a little bit. It was like, okay, it doesn't look awful.
But it was much better than the trailer made it look, which
it was nice. It was, yeah.
So also worth mentioning, Titans has already been renewed for season 2. So hopefully it is good because we're going to have more of it.
Yeah, there's a very good chance that'll slot in past that Stargirl. Was it last?
Yeah, that ends at the end of December, basically next year. So That would just be over a year since the season 1 when
Yeah,
it
be
comes
about
back.
15 months, which is what we see often for the cable cycle on TV shows now.
It wouldn't be
So
15 months. It'd be exactly a year since it ended.
no, but since it starts, which is usually what we go with for the cable cycle.
Is it? I thought we always went by the end.
No,
You just say no. I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, it's because we talk about like Better Call Saul coming back later every year. Like it came back like August this year when it ended last year. Like
Yeah, but no, Better Call Saul was longer for sure than the other
okay,
ones. But I'm thinking something like Expanse, the previous seasons of Mr. Robot.
okay. Regardless, so we're going to have one thing at all times basically, if not more.
Yeah.
Which is great in the summer, making us very busy when the CW shows are all
Yeah,
on.
the only problem for us scheduling wise is, I mean, it's great for you listeners, is that occasionally during the summer, if something needed to be cut for time, this was like, well, there's no new content. It's we can be a little bit lax, whereas this time now it'll be like, okay, every week.
Oh yeah, every week we have to keep up with this shit. Yeah, there's too much of
Yeah.
it now. Absolutely. So also James Robinson was brought into the writing staff for Stargirl, which John's compared to like a Back to the Future and the Karate Kid mixed with some Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's speaking a lot of my correct terms. So I'm okay with that. And yes, I did mention the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer just in case you missed that reference.
No one missed it.
You might have missed it. You might have done. So I think that was all the big things worth mentioning. Actually, we got a Harley Quinn tease. We should probably briefly
We did, didn't
touch
we?
upon
We got a
that.
little trailer. It was like a minute long, maybe.
I'd say it's less a trailer, more of a scene.
Yeah, because it's not anything from the show. It's made just specifically for. It was for New York Comic Con.
It's a teaser. I guess it is a teaser trailer, but it's a teaser that's clearly designed as just a standalone teaser that's not going to be in the thing.
The whole point of it is to go, hey, this is the style. This is the comedy we're going for. This is a couple of the actors.
Yeah, it's very Deadpool, and then makes fun of Deadpool. And surprisingly, I thought it was quite funny, so I can't fault it too much.
Yes.
I am actually kind of interested in it now. And they also announced Kaylee Cuoco is going to play Harley Quinn. So
Yeah, no, it had. I really hope we get a lot of Harley and Ivy together because that's one of my favorite pairings. And deadpan just can't be bothered with anything Ivy is just one of my favorite things.
yeah, so yeah, worth mentioning the news. Like I say, I think we talked a bit longer about it on the TV news show. But yeah, so we'll get into the show. So yeah, this will be a shorter episode for sure. That said, I mean, who knows how long we'll go in these two episodes, but we'll get straight into The Flash, Season 5, Episode 1. Man, Season 5.
I know already.
Season 5. Yeah, time moves so much quicker the older you get, I swear.
Hey, give it a week and when you have to introduce Arrow.
Season 7. Yeah, Arrow started in like 2012.
What the hell?
I know. Time's moving
God
on, man.
damn it, time, you fickle bitch.
So this is Season 5, Episode 1 of The Flash. It's called Nora. Of course, spoilers for this episode, then for every episode we talk about once we start speaking about them. So I'm going to be bold here, because obviously we have been very critical. Almost the last couple of seasons of The Flash have had like sort of high points early on and then kind of nosedived.
To the point where I was a version of like, well, if stuff gets really busy and we're like, okay, we're not watching we can't watch everything every week. Flash was on the list where I'm not too fussed anymore.
And yeah, this obviously could have the same thing where by the time we get to about March, we're going to be hating what they're doing. But this might be the best season premiere they've had.
I think it probably is.
It was really good. It was funny. That Nora added like a lot to the dynamics of the cast.
There was a point where it was teasing something, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so this is really obvious. It's beating you around the head with it. And I thought, okay, how long are we going to drag this out for? And then it's in this episode. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, not only that, they subverted the expectations in a really good, nice way, I thought. Like because I think when she's like, it's like, okay, she's lying about the future, and it's like, okay, there's this stuff going on. But when they actually just brought up right, no, she's lying about the fact that she's stuck here. She can go back anytime she wants. She just doesn't want to, right? And it's like, okay, at first she has this weird awkwardness with Iris, and it's like she's much closer with Barry, and I'm like, is this because, like, I was thinking, okay, which one's dead? One of them's dead.
No, I thought it was so obviously Barry, because the whole thing is like, Iris done that. Bored of you. Barry's new.
Oh, sure, but I think it's more than that. I think she's got a bad relationship with Iris.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the first thing I was getting when she was being really awkward with her in Jitters in the coffee shop, is I was getting that she doesn't not have a good relationship with Iris, and Iris was feeling... in fact, and Iris made me laugh. Like, by the way, they are taking a lot from Young Justice with this, because her saying Shway is totally their version of Crash. I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out right now. And she says Shway, and Iris tries to sound cool. And what I think is funny about this scene is that she's from the future. Iris has no reason to think she'd be expected to know her phrases, right?
Because she is suddenly the mum not knowing the kid's term.
And not only that, she tries to say it, and she adds the word baby after. She's like, yeah, Shway, baby. And she just sips her coffee. Really, I was like, oh god, that was stupid. Why did I say that?
No, that is exactly. It's your mum going, hey, I keep up. I know all the cool things.
Yes.
I'm trendy. And then it's just like, like 3 years out of date or something like that.
And that was funny. Also, apparently it's a running gag now that Iris won't get like really obvious movie references, and she'll mistake them for the wrong. Because there was a joke last season about I think it was a Star Trek reference, and she goes, "Oh, Star Wars," with a smile on her face, and Barry just gives her this look of shock and horror. And then this episode, she's like, "Oh, we can't let her Marty McFly this." She's like, "Oh yeah, Terminator 2," and she, Back to the Future, Iris.
It's like, do you know what? I'm not even gonna bother.
I'm like. Because Iris is one of the most improved cast members, I think, over the show. Because I think season 1, 2, Iris was very much just the love interest, right? And then season 3 with her dying or going to die, and that's actually why I very quickly decided it wasn't Iris who was dead in the future, because we've done that already, where she thinks she's going to die, so we can't do it again. And then I actually really like that they tied it back into the crisis. There's like, no, Barry goes missing in a crisis. I'm like, oh,
we've known about this since.
Excellent.
First handful of episodes of the show.
And I'm like, okay, I like that. That's cool. They were hammering Barry being upset that he was going to miss all the first a little bit much. When he was upset at first. Like, that was a bit mopey Barry, but,
It was.
Whatever. But I like what they're doing with that. I like that he wants it to stick around by the end of the episode. And Iris is all like okay, I can bomb my daughter. What's wrong with our relationship? I'm going to fix this before she's even born.
It's going to go so badly.
It's going to go very badly, but I'm sure they'll have some big heartwarming embrace.
There was so much cracking me up in this episode, but Ralph being so out of the loop.
Before we even get to him out of the loop, I want to say he might have the best line of this entire show in this episode, which is, "Why didn't Eddie just get a vasectomy?" That broke me. That absolutely broke me. And it actually reminded me of all the bullshit with their time travel rules that don't make sense. Like, why it didn't erase everything they'd already done because then they'd never be born. Like, let's not get into it, but, it's a thing.
Yeah, they tried pulling it up this time with the legends go, legends have this theory, there's soft things and there's hard things. It's just a thing.
And that was something else I liked. I liked that they immediately addressed, like, well, if she can't run back to the future, why can't the legends just take her on the Wave Rider?
Do you know one of the things I really liked?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the points where Wally was doing stuff, we got the Legends theme playing. I don't know if you caught it, but I was like,
I don't think I did,
cool.
but that's a nice touch. Obviously, he's gone for a while now. Although I do love how weird the Elvis story was to them. Them not being on Legends. Like, wait, Elvis's dead brother? What?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Joe's like, what the hell have you been up to?
And there's not much Joe in this. We just get that Joe is really upset that Cecile can still read minds, and that this entire 5-season show, he's had a hidden den in the lab where he goes to sleep.
That's so Joe, though, isn't it?
It is, and that's where Nora's going to stay. Which is a bit just convenient TV, right? Now we've got a bedroom in here that she can.
Yeah.
Even though Jessie had like a bunk room that she stayed in when she was here, but no, they had to design a new little set with like a little lounge.
It's true, but I'll let it slide.
But yeah, everything with Ralph was great, and Joe I loved especially. Obviously, had some great.
What was he calling the multiverse?
The Manyverse.
The Manyverse, yeah.
So not only that, when he's talking about time travel, and he's like, "Wait, there's time travel." No one said Bupkis about time travel. And then later on, he comes storming in in Star Labs, and he's like, "Guys, I've had this thought." And he's like, "Right, so this is an Earth, and there's multiple timelines, right? So that creates other Earths. We'll call it the Manyverse." And he's starting to explain things. And it's when Caitlin says, "What did you think when we said Harry was from Earth too?" And he's like, "I thought you meant that he was from Earth also." That was a funny line. That was good.
And this is why we kept Ralph alive.
Right. So yeah, I'm glad he's a regular. I'm glad he's still around. But my favourite thing about Ralph is not with the funny lines, but later on, I thought we were going to get Mopey Ralph, and the same debate was going to come back, right, where he was going to fight with Barry. Because at one point he turns to him and says, "Hey, why don't you just travel back in time and save me the night DeVoe killed me?" And I was like, an awkward moment. I was like, "Oh God, don't do this! Don't do this!"
He's not even saying to Barry. It's to Cisco and Caitlin.
Oh, you're right. And he just sort of goes, "Oh, I'm just kidding, guys. I get those ramifications." And I'm like, "Oh, you good? He gets it. Yes, right. No bullshit drama from this. Good. Just keep it fun, light, and that's when it's at its best." And I think Nora is an interesting wrench, and again, we're getting this fun mum-dad stuff with Iris and Barry, but it's also like, okay, Barry's now got this ticking time clock over his head where there's this threat. He's got all these other things. There's tons of references to things. Apparently there's going to be a King Shark versus Grodd fight. I want to see that. I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
Lightning Lad gets a reference at one point.
Yeah.
All this stuff. But she's called XS in the future because she does the narration.
Ryan Choi.
Ryan Choi made the suit, not Cisco.
Yeah.
The new suit. Because we get like a greatest hits thing, and we get the season 1 suit. Which he's complaining is too tight, which is just a funny. He got old and fat joke. I mean, he's not fat. He's like he's
ripped.
Yeah, but and then he wears like the season 2 and 3 suit, and they're like, wait, why does this stink? Oh, it's because the one you fought King Shark in, which led to the reference. Yeah. And then he's like, I've got no suits left. Everyone's been damaged. And then she's like, oh, I brought one from the Flash Museum, and everyone's like, Flash Museum. When this was earlier when she brought this up, they're like, Flash Museum, what?
Yeah, it's like, it just does everything you ever did chronologically. That may have studied. And
I also like, actually, do you know what I really like about this premiere? This is the first season, and this is true, this is 100% fact. Unless they do it in episode 2 or 3. This is the first season where, there's not one single thing that's the reason for all the metas this year. There's no bus metas, they're all, the accelerate explosion, they're not all Zoom's Earth 2 metas, they're not the what was the season 3 guy? What was his name? The villain. Savitar. They're not all Savitar's metas from the Husks. Like every year they've had to shoe in this, even though they can just all be metas from the explosion in season 1. There's a lot of metas flying around. Caitlin's a meta from before the thing.
No, it's funny because obviously we've been watching through season 1 of Smallville over the break.
Yes.
And you can give that show a lot of shit, and we definitely do. But I mean, for the most part, they're all just meteor freaks. It's fine.
Oh yeah, that almost goes in the other direction though, where they always give us this bullshit. There's kryptonite somewhere nearby that made them what they are.
At least it was like we didn't have to come up with something convoluted new every time. Where, like you said, we already had a particle accelerator explosion that covered everyone.
Yeah, that's fine. And it was fine in season 2 because it was like it was like more of a plot purpose. But season 3 is where it felt like it was like, wait, why is Savitar making all the metas? Like, why are we doing this? Yeah. And then season 4 was like, the bus metas. It's just all these 12 or whatever. It was weird, but they didn't do that this year. There's Gridlock's there, and drunk Cisco was kind of funny, realizing that he didn't name him, and he's like, damn it, I'm a slave to my own destiny or whatever he said.
Yeah. I hungover Cisco is the best.
Don't drink and vibe.
Why did he get dressed like that? Why bother? When he goes off just to vibe them up to the plane.
Oh yeah.
Did he really need the outfit for that?
Oh yeah, obviously CG's hit or miss, but it was a big fun sequence. Them phasing the plane through a building.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was good.
Is this the first season premiere in a while where Barry's not been out of commission or coming back for the first? It's just we're just going.
Which actually makes this the freshest season opener we've had.
Well, what did we have? Season 2, he was recovering. We did the thing in the sky.
Yeah, the big black hole in the sky. Yeah, and then end of season 2, he did Flashpoint. So he came back from that and started season 4. So we started season 3 in Flashpoint. Yeah, and at the end of season 3, he went to the Speed Force and came back with the bus thing. Start season 4. So this time it's just he's just here, which is kind of nice. Just getting on with it. It is nice. It's weird that doing the normal mundane one is the one that feels fresh because they felt the need to shoehorn in these. It's the same with Arrow, how they always have to break up the team at the end of every season.
Oh God, I know.
Which, to be fair, they didn't really do that last. Well, they kind of did.
They did not. I don't remember how it ended. I was way too drunk for that.
That's true. That's very true.
All I remember is that Dick's still alive.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not looking forward to that. But I did like that he used the speech that Harry gave him in season 1 to motivate Nora.
Yeah, I thought it went a little bit far into cutting them. Because it showed you the first line. It cut back to him remembering Harry telling us,
Yeah,
giving it the.
I think we needed at least one shot of that to remind me that because I would never remember that he said
No,
that
I
line.
agree.
Yeah.
Him thinking about it, and we get Wells, probably call him Wells at this point for that one. We got
yes.
yeah, we got him telling us, the memory, but then we kept hearing the voiceover. It was like
Oh sure,
right,
okay. You said it was overdone once
repetition.
it got
Yeah,
going.
I didn't think we needed all that part.
That's fair, but I liked it if because it feels because I mean you get to season 5, you're at the point now where you're going to be hitting 100 episodes this season, so we're going to have that, which is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's a good time to start being reflective of what the show was at the start. Even Arrow did that in season 5. It was like going back to its roots, and here's all these season 1 things, and
Yeah, it doesn't mean it was good, but it tried.
hey, there was one good episode in season 5 Arrow.
I'll tell you what.
It was the one with the flashback season 1 where remember it's like intercut when he's like following all these dead bodies up the elevator.
Oh, up the stairs.
Escalator rather, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, that was actually alright.
That was actually a good episode in the middle of an otherwise laughably. Although that said, I would take season 5 over season 6 in a heartbeat. In a goddamn heartbeat.
As long as we get the Deathstroke episode from 6, because that was pretty good.
I will take him with that main theme you love so much, Prometheus.
God, yes.
Over that shithead we had last season any day of the week.
Yeah.
I remember how we switched villains halfway through season 6 as well. That was a thing.
Yeah, I think one good thing in season 6, one good thing in two good things in season 5. Prometheus and that episode.
But no, I really had a lot of fun with this episode. Like the characters were making me laugh. Like even though Wally was underused and he's left, like at least like using his knowledge of the legends and getting them to like fill in some information felt more natural. Yeah. Caitlin teasing that her dad's not really dead with a certificate.
It's the one thing I'm not feeling.
Yeah. I like her alter ego thing where they're different personalities. I like that. That was one of the things I liked last season, was that she's leaving herself notes. That was fun. The dad thing, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but it's kind of going to be, you were a meta all along, right? And I'm like, is this in the back of my head? I'm going, is that the thing this season? Was there something before?
Which would make some sense because, it'd have to be something before, or there's just other metas in the world that come from different places, and we'll find out maybe more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the new suit? We've seen the new suit in action.
I don't love it. I like the new shade of red, the color.
I like the red, and I love that it's not leather anymore. I prefer the fabric. I think the actual head looks a little bit weird.
I know. Obviously, the comics no chin strap.
Mm-hmm.
I think this looked better with the chin strap. I think it's just the way it fits his face.
I don't think necessarily. I never liked the bit that came up on his chin, but I could see it just going to like.
Going around the bottom. Yeah. I think what it is just obviously, you add an extra half-inch sticking out on the top of your head with this cowl on the top. The bottom feels like it's really skinny in comparison. So it makes you look like your head's out of proportion. Whereas if you just put a layer just around the bottom, you don't have to come up onto the chin. Just go around the bottom. That would solve it.
Yeah. Like I say, texture. I'm so happy we're away from the leather jacket look because
I do hope Cisco makes some modifications and we can get the yellow on the boots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting yellow boots from day one. Do it.
That would be nice. But, I mean, if this is it, I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I can live with it. And Nora's fun. Honestly, like she's definitely cheesy, but she's fun cheesy so far.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. She's Shway.
She's Shway. She's Crash. Which I mean, she kind of means that we're never really getting Bart because this would be the same plot again if we did Bart.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Do you know I know we say this all the time. It's like, let's get rid of Barry and do another Flash, right?
Oh yeah, we've been saying that since like season 2.
If there's ever a time at the end of season 5, obviously, because I think that's where this season's going is going to be, okay, how do we save Barry from the crisis, right? That's why Nora's here.
And it'll end up happening early because they try to change things.
Yeah, just the idea of, 5 seasons, Barry's done. He's gone.
That's not happening.
No, I know, but just think, okay, he's done. We have Nora take over as the Flash. She's like, okay, I'll step up and take over, Dad's legacy. And oh man, I want that. I don't even like Nora enough as a character right now to go, oh, she should be leading the show. I just want the legacy.
Yeah. Also, I need to give credit to the casting here. They cast someone who looks convincingly like they could be, Barry and Iris's kid. She looks just the right mix of the two of them.
Yeah, it's plausible.
It's impressive. It's impressive casting. The fact that she actually has some charisma is just lucky.
She's actually pretty good.
Yeah, this is lucky on top of that. Because I would take someone that's less convincing as their kid for a better performance if that was the choice. But
absolutely.
But
I mean, it doesn't feel like they've compromised here.
It doesn't. No. Actually, at one point they said, "Oh, we've got no satellite. We've got no way of predicting metas anymore." And I was like, "Well, Nora's been studying her dad's history. Maybe she'll have a few pointers as we go along."
I thought it was really no satellites. Oh, but we'll just hack into the phones. I'm like, hang on, aren't the phones running on satellites?
Joe, I really but it's not their satellite. I think that before they had their own satellite, they could just.
Did they only lose theirs?
Yeah, still only lost theirs. Not all the satellites.
I remember that being a thing that he was trying to knock out all of them, but I can't remember.
Joe, I really liked actually. I liked that they called Barry on his hypocrisy because he kept saying like, "Oh, she has to go back. Messing with the timeline's a bad thing."
And I was just like, "Hey, you went to 2015 to do some training with Wells.
Yeah.
You went to 2030 to get some answers about Savitar. Come on."
Yeah, she brought up 3 examples, and it's like you cannot give her this speech because you're not you're it's hypocritical. Yeah. And I like that she pointed that out, and he kind of accepts it. So Barry's not annoyed me yet.
I'm so glad he realized this episode that she grew up without him. Because, like I said, it was so obvious and beating us over the head with it that they're not around, and I was okay with that. But I was like, I don't want it dragged out. But it's in this episode, and we go and we get it confronted, and we talk about it, and that feels fresh. And
it feels like the pacing.
We're getting it up front.
The pacings were working for us. What my hope is they're kind of doing a Shield thing where maybe, because we know they're having their mid-season finale before the crossover this year, I'm hoping that is kind of like this first 7-8 episode chunk is kind of it's not its own thing completely, but it'll be its own arc and it'll have a good pace, and then we'll kind of almost start like a bigger season chunk.
Yeah, because we're gonna do this through an arc, and this should end this arc with the 100th episode, right?
Hey. What if Elseworlds the crossovers where Barry goes poof?
Down.
What if that's the Crisis?
I mean, sure, but I mean, explain why we're in Gotham.
Well, they go because that part of the Crisis, they're fluctuating between worlds and they end up in Gotham. And
that
sure. Was well.
I mean, maybe.
But it's whatever they do in the Flash. It's their fault that this starts happening. Hence why it's really Barry's job to fix it.
And why right with that, yeah. But no, I am right in thinking that the episode before that will be their 50th?
100th, you mean?
100th, yeah.
Yeah, 50th was season 3.
I don't know why I said 50th. I said 100th fine a minute ago. I'm tired. I've been awake a goddamn long time.
Okay? And given the 100th they feel big, it makes sense that should be quite climactic.
Yeah, and if that then runs into the crossover,
we could do things with that.
We could.
Oh, what if he goes missing in the 100th and the crossovers them try to find him, and that's what leads them to other places?
Yeah, but we already know he's in the crossover, right? Like they kind of told us that.
Did they?
I think so. I thought they did.
Maybe you're right. I don't remember it, but
I thought
I don't know. I mean, we're probably very wrong, but I'm just trying to think of different ways they could use the crossover to be kind of like how it was Barry and Irish's wedding last year. Like you make it important, and it obviously means it's focused more to the Flash again, but. He's such a big wacky character with multiple universes and time travel that he's kind of the easy one to revolve it around.
I think it's also he's the link because obviously Arrow started this. Let's we'll not get that wrong, but Arrow linked to Flash, and then Flash is the link to Supergirl. So he's the one that connects them.
Which by the way,
and also Legends kind of mostly spun out of Flash.
And I actually really like that Nora got excited about the speed thing. She's like, "Oh, this is what you were wearing when you first met Supergirl." I was like, "Oh, that was a great episode. I'm glad you're bringing that up." And I liked that she then brought up, "What about the smaller one that goes inside the emblem? He could help me run." And Cisco was like, "Yeah, we're ahead of you." I'm like, they're bringing up things that we could be pointing out as plot holes, and they're addressing them.
It reminds me of last season when there was all this stuff that we were talking about, well, why are they not doing this? Well, what about all that stuff we learnt before?
I don't know if that is so much, but I am wondering if the better pacing and addressing things at a reasonable rate is them having learned from the complaints. Because last year we had that same Barry and Ralph dynamic for 7 episodes in a row, and it was so repetitive and painful. It was fine the first time, but by the time we got to the 5th one, it was like, we've done this 5 times. They kept forgetting the growth and resetting them at the start of every episode. It was painful. And so even when you had Entered Flash Time, which was a fantastic episode, and it picked. I mean, the last few were fine. Had you taken out most of those repetitive episodes,
it'd have been pretty good.
Yeah, the last 3 would have been fine. I would say the random Inception part was a bit weird, but it had things. So I'm hoping they've learned their lesson from that.
Very positive based on this episode. A little cautious based on past seasons.
It could go downhill. And I'm okay with it having some stinkers. I'm okay if it's maybe hit and miss. What I don't want, though, is to get to the point where it's a bunch of stinkers in a row like last year, and more to the point, a bunch of stinkers in a row that deflates the actual main plot. If it's got some standalone stinkers, then whatever, fine.
Yeah, but when it gets to a point where I'm just like, I don't care about this anymore.
Yes.
And that's what I don't want.
And if it has stinkers mixed in, but the actual main plot's still pretty good or whatever.
I mean,
which
I expect a couple of shit episodes every season when you got this many episodes. I'll accept that.
Which does lead us to maybe the most concerning thing, actually, is the villain at the end. Cicada. Who looks cheesy and cheap was my thing.
Yeah.
He kills Gridlock. He's got a lightning bolt, Flash symbol looking blade.
Yeah, it's like some weird metal. It kind of remind me of Savitar's armor.
Yeah. But then he's just like a guy in a hood with a mask on.
Yeah.
And he's got the creepy voice. I'm not feeling the villain yet. And to be fair, I've not felt a lot of their main villains. Savitar was atrocious, and I'm getting Savitar vibes from him in that sense. But
yeah, it's unfortunate because last season, early on with DeVoe, was some of the we were like, oh, that was some of the best stuff.
What could make this work, though, is I can get past a shitty villain if what comes out of it for the characters across the main cast is good. He's just the threat. I can live with that if everything else is fun and entertaining.
I've got to get some enjoyment from it, I think, if it's going to focus on it.
Sure. I mean, when it really digs into the focus of it, those could end up being the weakest episodes. But if I've got Ralph cracking jokes, if I've got the heartwarming relationship between...
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Yeah, but Barry and Nora reconnecting with Iris, and Iris finding out why she hates her and maybe try to fix it and whatnot. Because that was the other thing. We got the newspaper again 25 years later saying he was still missing.
Yeah, if I had to predict, I would say the relationship went sour because Iris was so, hung up on Barry and trying to find him that she kind of neglected Nora.
She became obsessed about that rather than being a mother,
Yeah, that would be my guess right now, which is, that's fine. That's pretty standard.
Just the obvious one to guess. If I was to make just a concrete prediction that I think I'm 100% right in, and I'll be shocked if I'm not, I think the crisis where he goes missing is being moved up. And obviously I think they'll fix it and get him back relatively quickly. But I think because they're bringing it up now, I think we're going to do that. Maybe in the 100th. That makes a lot of sense to me to do it in the 100th. Because end of episode 1, Flash goes missing in a crisis. You do it in 100th. That's how you tie it back in all the way to episode 1.
It is. And I would prefer that over the end of the season. Because if they do it at the end of the season, it's going to feel the same old... Barry's gone at the end of the season. See you in a few months.
You do it in the 100th. Or you set it up in the 100th and do it in the crossover. I'd be okay with that too. That still makes sense. You do that, then I think you come back and you have... What I'd really want is not to see him for however long he's gone. Let's say he's gone for 4 episodes. I don't want to see him until he's back. I don't want to cut to Speed Force and Barry in
Agreed.
there. I want him to be completely missing and let the rest of the team... That's why I think I kind of like the idea of him going in the 100th and having, in the crossover, having, Nora and Iris, go to Supergirl, go to the others and say, hey, can you help us? We need to try and find Barry. I like the idea of that, but, I mean, how right I am about any of this, I don't know, but I do think because we're bringing up the crisis and him going missing, I think we somehow speed that up and get it happening this season, somehow.
I hope so.
Because we're never going to... I mean, the show might go to 2024, but they're not saving it for then.
They're not, no. And, hey, we need a crisis. I mean, I know we had, Earth X, but... We need a classic Red Sky crisis.
Yeah, that was Crisis in name, and that's fun, but it wasn't a crisis, and the multiverse is in peril.
Yeah, that's what we really need, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this universe has been going, long enough now that it's earned a crisis.
Do you know what's funny though? Is as much as I joked there that they're not going to go to 2024, like that'd be
It's
season
the
10.
CW. They probably will.
Yeah, it's actually conceivable they will get to 2024. Although they kind of painted them into unless they retcon her out and the Flashpoint Nora out of existence. They said that she's born a few years before that, so technically we have to get Iris pregnant by the end of season 7. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, I mean that's not unrealistic though.
It's not. I mean, they'd probably do a pregnant plot at some point anyway, but
Yeah.
so it's worth mentioning Nora is a series regular, as is Cecile now, which is fun because I like her too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit mixed on Cecile keeping the powers because it kind of as much as I'm like I like it, I'm like well it even more undermines last season, right? The whole thing of oh no it's temporary, like well oh no it's not. Just forget about last season. I'm like
We'll see how it is next year. I mean, or not next year. You know what I mean? We'll see how it is as it goes
over the season.
Over the season. I'm undecided. Like I don't like it or dislike it. Like
I like it in principle of I like the powers. I dislike it in just that it feels like I don't like they don't stick to what they set up.
sure. One of the things that I liked about last season early on, especially, was the comedy really got good, and I think that that's carried over here. I was laughing a lot this episode.
Yeah. Oh, are we due a new Harry Wells something this year?
I don't actually know. I was actually. I mean, did they confirm he was back as a regular?
I don't remember.
Because I got the feeling from this episode he may actually just genuinely be gone now.
We'll see.
I don't know. Huh? Is in the cast list on IMDb.
I don't know. If nothing else, I'd expect would at
He
least
is.
see him as some Wellsabard, maybe.
He
Because
no,
we got more of that time to play with.
he's in the cast list on IMDb. It's credit
The
only.
regular still.
Well, it says
it's
credit
credit
only.
only,
You
yeah.
typically only
Yeah,
get that
well.
after a regular. So we're getting a version of Wells, but I think the one we had's done because we got a really fitting send off for him.
We did. I think they can't. They can't undo that. That would annoy me.
Yeah, I think Eobard Wells would be the one that makes sense. Given
I think that's what you go back to. Again, we spoke about going back to your early days for when you're gearing up to 100. That would work.
I almost wonder if they'll do it in a way where they want him back because he needs advice. They'll seek him out.
Could do. And it's just a case of, well, we know that they were always going to have more confrontations because of that's how it is.
Oh,
right?
do you know what I wouldn't be opposed to, actually? I wouldn't be opposed to, like, Cicada's just like it's really reverse flashes behind it all, right? Whatever's going on, like it's actually Thawne, and he's just a pawn.
As long as they don't sweep it out too late.
Oh, sure, no, I agree with that, but I'm thinking, no, by the 100th, because we need to have Thawne around then to make, it's Flash versus reverse Flash for the 100th,
we cannot go the 100th without Wells in some form.
Exactly. But I'm saying, that's the classic arch nemesis. That's how you bring him back. And if anything, they've almost been too light in him popping back up, frequent enough because his reverse flash is supposed to be coming in and out, as per the comics. And I feel like, okay, now's the time to do it. So, what if Cicada, who's Chris Klein, by the way, if I remember right, he's from American Pie and whatnot. By the way, I just want to mention on Chris Klein, if you Google every Chris Klein line in Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, which starred Lana Lang, Kristen Crook in it as the lead character. If you Google that video, go to YouTube and look up that video. It's like a minute and a half long, and it's just all of his lines. He is atrocious in that movie. Now, it's a terrible movie, so I won't necessarily blame it all entirely on him.
But he didn't help himself.
But it's laughably bad. It is insanely bad. So I'm expecting cheese from him, if nothing else. Also, her Nora's name XS. It's just the letters X and S. It's not the word XS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how it's written.
Oh, okay, I did not get that.
I don't think it mattered if you got it or not.
No, it doesn't. It didn't really matter, but I just didn't. It never even crossed my mind that it was that.
But no. So yeah, we're quite positive on this premiere. I really liked. I had fun. This was fun. Flash.
Given where we ended last season, I'm a lot more positive than I expected to. Coming into this, I was going, all right, I suppose I'll watch Flash. But I've come out pretty pumped.
Yeah, I'm into it, and hopefully it can, even if it has some stinkers, hopefully it can keep coming back to this quality. Because we started off fairly positive last year. We did. Yeah. It made some mistakes.
We were mostly positive up until Christmas last year.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I'll tell you what my concern is. What I'm a little concerned about. I'm a little bit concerned.
We've mentioned a few okay, we've got some concerns.
I can see some pitfalls here, and one of them is that I can see Cisco and Nora becoming a thing. I'm worried that they're going to go down this route where he falls in love with Barry's daughter.
Yeah.
Because they reminded us in this episode that he just broke up and he's heartbroken. I don't know. I feel like they might try and shoehorn in a romance with her, and it's going to be weird
That's
because
a
it's
point.
yeah.
And this is the first season that hasn't had a time jump. We're still in May-ish.
That's true. What if the 100th he goes missing and then there's a time jump and by the time we get to the crossover with everyone else,
Because they're all jumping ahead.
yeah.
Well, Arrow definitely is. I know that. Legends doesn't really matter, and Supergirl probably is.
And Legends isn't in the crossover anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, so they've probably all jumped ahead, but over summer. Whereas maybe they won't jump ahead. There's 3 or 4 months until then.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Good point.
Or we'll just have like bigger gaps between the episodes week to week. It'll just be like, it's been 3 weeks since the last episode.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, every time, and it'll add up.
Yeah. But no, so pretty positive. It was pretty good. I had fun. I was laughing a lot. Ralph was cracking me up. It was the Ralph I like in this show, not the mopey one. Barry didn't do anything particularly. He was maybe a little bit mopey early on, but
it says a lot that Barry's kind of one of my least favorite characters on the show, though.
Yeah. Iris had some good moments, some funny moments, some running jokes coming back. I don't know. I like it. And do you know what? I'm actually, as much as it's reference dropping for the sake of reference dropping, I do kind of love that Nora dropping references to things that she knows about Flash's history is coming from this enthusiastic fanboy kind of place, or fangirl place, I should say.
It's where we are.
It's where we are. So it's just like a conduit almost. She's like a viewer or a reader of the Flash comics who's like, hey, all these things, we can talk about them.
Look what we've still got to do in the show.
Yeah. So that's cool. But yeah, it's Flash. It was pretty good. So that'll all take us on to the other show we had starting this week. Well, technically Supergirl's this week, but it's Sunday, so it's like next week's batch.
Yeah. The week starts on a Sunday now. Just get used to it.
Yes. So this is Black Lightning. This is season 2, episode 1, and it looks like the season itself has a title because last week we had the book of something, and then like they had the title. This year it's the Book of Consequences, and every episode seemingly, I mean, we've only got the titles for the first 3, but they all have the Book of Consequences as the start of the title.
They weren't all the same last year, were they?
No, they were all different last year. So this is the Book of Consequences, Chapter 1, Rise of the Green Light Babies. Now, don't get too excited, it's not Green Lantern related. You'd be forgiven for thinking there was Green Lantern involvement.
The bastards.
Because we thought about Green Light, but then you remember, that was the name of the drug in the show.
Yeah.
So what I'll say is I'm upset that Cyanide's dead because I like Cyanide, but I also, the positive side of this is that I'd forgotten how stylized the action was in this show and how much I liked it.
Yeah, we have a hallway fight.
We have a hallway fight which is very good with Nyssa. I thought that was really, it wasn't quite up to the Daredevil season 1.
No, it wasn't a one-er. It was just a 3 maybe extended sequences. It was still pretty damn good. Like, way better than anything I expect in the CW.
I think what I like about their action in this, though, is the way it sort of paces out the hits. It has this kind of... It's almost like it's in beat to the music, and it kind of... It works with it. Because the opening one in the car park with Kara, whose name I finally learned. The vice principal.
Finally.
Yes. Which is not confusing at all. Because actually, I forgot to mention this, but we're going to have 3 Noras in this, between these shows by the time we get to crossover.
You're right, I forgot about Freeze.
Nora Freeze, Nora Allen, and Nora from Legends.
West Allen. Well, because you got Nora Allen, the mother, and Nora West Allen,
oh shit!
the daughter.
I wasn't counting her though, because she's dead and gone. I was thinking.
Fine. I was just talking in terms of characters they're going to refer to.
But Nora's also Atom's wife on Legends.
Yeah.
Well, they're not married in the show, of course, but in real life they're married. Who, by the way, is on there's a poster for Legends, and Nora, Ava, and Constantine were all on the poster. And I don't really care about Constantine that much, but I was like, oh, Ava and Nora's on the poster. That's cool.
I'm really excited for Legends. I watched the part new trailer last week, and it looks so insane.
Beeble wills it. Anyway. But this is the thing. So Legends we loved last season. Black Lightning was probably most definitely the second best show, but maybe better than Legends depending on your taste.
Objectively better.
Yeah,
but I had more fun with Legends.
Here's the thing. Here's how I saw this described online this way, and I like this. Black Lightning's your gritty's 80s comic. Legends are your goofy age, silver age stories, right?
Yeah, they're maybe equal in quality. It's just taste.
Yeah. But like I say, the action scene early on with Kara and Cyanide, where they're, she's got blades in her heels, right, for a start, and then I was like, I don't remember her being such a badass last year. This is all new, right? She was never this cool last year. This is the new stuff.
No, they introduced the idea that she was, a bit more than what it seemed quite late from what I recall.
Yeah, because I remember when they revealed that she was the bad guy, it was almost underwhelming because it was like, oh, she's such a minor character that it's not a big deal. But they've won me over with her because she's a badass in this episode.
Yeah, she is.
That fight is great, and she ends up killing Cyanide by stabbing her in the neck. Well, she throws it as well. Let's point that out. She throws it to her neck, and Cyanide dies. And she tries to assassinate, because we don't see Tobias all episode. I really want to call him Kingpin, and I was like, that's Daredevil, don't say Kingpin.
He is kind of just Kingpin, though, isn't he?
Kind of. It was very similar. But she goes to assassinate him, and he ends up harpooning. He fires a harpoon at her.
Harpoons her in the stomach, and she's like, "Oh shit, this hurt." And then he grabs it and yanks her towards him from the harpoon. I'm like, "Oh, this is brutal. I love it."
And then she's like, "Okay, right, this has failed. I'm just going to jump out the window to survive."
That'll hurt less than the harpoon.
Well, I even liked how she entered that scene with the night vision goggles. So she comes in slowly, all Sam Fisher.
I wasn't a fan of the night vision point of view shots.
The effect,
they looked a bit like the filter. It felt a bit cheap.
I thought the visual of her with just the glowing orange lenses.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. Yeah. But now her stuff was great. So they're really setting up as characters. They're kind of setting up that she's kind of Gambi. She's like this generation's Gambi, and that's why she goes to Gambi. Hey, I want out, just like you got out. Can you help me with that? So they're kind of setting that up, which is kind of cool. So,
I can see, obviously what Gambi was to Jefferson, Kara can be to the girls.
Oh, maybe I could see that. And they're obviously a bit uneasy at first. Jefferson won't like it when he finds out, and I could see that being a thing. This was a lot of consequences of the last season. This was a lot of like, okay, where's everyone now?
Yeah.
Where are we? It's got some of that more political stuff where we're getting. Obviously, we referenced black people being shot by the police last season, of course, as well. But this season, it's directly tied into these are the people with powers. Metahumans specifically are being attacked or they're being victimized by the police, and we get a lot. I like that with Jennifer because she feels like she's a bit of a freak and she's really concerned with it. She's now floating in her sleep with the energy.
Yeah, and you have a great scene where she just can't control it and she just lock herself and she just sits in the bathtub.
Yeah. But it's her friend who says, "Oh, it's the end of times. These people are a bunch of freaks," and it's like, "Oh, we have this new prejudice growing from within. We have this new thing for this to show up with." And she has that great scene, and Jefferson has to go in and kind of absorb her energy and sort of because he can control it better, so he absorbs it and like takes it, and so the family are actually good. And I think there was a risk of this episode of the wife husband like drama maybe going too far,
but ultimately plays it on the side of almost comedy
and realistic, where they have this serious fight where they're not agreeing on what to do. She wants to like stay close to the people in the pods who are still in the pods, who the families aren't getting back. We'll talk about the sort of the other side of that in a bit, but she wants to be close to that. Bill Duke guest stars in this episode, which I was delighted to see, from Predator and Commando. He's like the guy interrogating her. I was like, that's cool. He was in Mandy recently as well. But he's there and he's like, no, you're getting nowhere near these people. Like, you're lying to me. I don't believe this. But apparently,
I really liked his line where it's like, I don't dislike liars because we all lie. It's fine. It just annoys me because they get in the way of my job.
Yeah, no, that was cool. And he he's not happy that someone's pulled strings. Gambi's got enough pull to get her still in there. Yeah. So she's with the pod people, which is really funny to say that pod because it sounds like talk about Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It does, doesn't it?
The pod people. But so she's doing that. But Jefferson's not happy with this at first. Then he kind of accepts it by the end, and she ends up like, this is a really funny scene because she relates his powers going out to erectile dysfunction. As soon as she calls him a man of a certain age, he's got like, what did you just say? I'm not that old. What? Shut up. What are you doing?
He's like, oh, I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah. But and I really like that Henderson, after all of last season, just figured it out. He's like, right, Black Lightning, I want to talk to you, and he shows up. He's like, right, I was thinking, why would Jefferson Pierce disappear from the school right after an attack? He wouldn't. Then Black Lightning appears. Take off the damn mask, Jeff. Take it off. Yeah. And he's like, questions like, do I make up a story? Do I lie? He's like, I'm just tired.
Yeah, and I like that. It's not okay with it. He's angry.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's pissed.
It's fractured the relationship. For now.
Yeah. It's something I think he'll get over in time. But I did like that he asked if Lynn was Thunder. And he's like, no, it's Nissa then. He's like, yeah.
No, I think this will be the season arc. Will be the acceptance.
Yeah. Well, what I liked about Jefferson's plot is that he's arguing with the school board. They're because of the attacks that multiple attacks have happened at this point. In season 1.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, there needs to be ramifications for this. We need to do this. And Jefferson makes some great points where they've always got money for metal detectors and they've always got money for security guards and guns, but they never seem to have money for books or computers or things that actually help educate anyone.
Yeah.
Obviously very political, but he's right on the money. And by the way, so there was a hard N-word in this.
Yeah, a couple of times.
And we never had that last year.
No, we did. I remember speaking about it, yeah, because it did it really early on, and we went, "Oh shit, okay."
No. You're not thinking of the same word. You're not thinking of the exact same word because they never did this last season. No, because this really stuck out to me. Because we were talking about how they got further than we thought they would.
Okay,
on CW.
Enough. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a while.
But they never outright said the full word, right? And or even the one with the R off at the end, right? They never said that either. And this is awkward because we're two white guys trying to talk about what they're using. But bear with us.
Yeah, we're not saying it.
Of course, we're not saying it. We're not.
No.
Of course, we're not.
But it makes it really hard to discuss it, doesn't it?
Yeah, but someone said it's when he's talking to his friend from the school board. And he just drops it very casually when he feels insulted. Like he's been, Jefferson's kind of make it like, he's like, this, the white person's interpreter, essentially. And he gets kind of heated, he gets kind of passionate. And it gets passionate from a place, though, where, Jefferson, we've seen in the season 1 that he really cares about the kids. He cares about making a difference. And the guy says, look, I'm trying to save the school. I'm not trying to save your job. And by the end of the episode, Jefferson has the same, because he's told they're shutting down the school. He's like, no, I'll resign, blame it on me, but keep it open for the kids.
Yeah. What is it? Because they're black spurt.
I think that's what he called them. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little. This is maybe the one thing in the episode that I'm cautious about. It's something that all of these CW shows have had a problem with is moving away from the day jobs, right? And focusing on the superheroics more and more as the show goes on. To
the point where they forget that they're supposed to have a day job in the first place.
And this feels like the first step to we can cut out the school.
Here's why I'm okay with it so far. Now, that could be an issue potentially if he doesn't do something else.
Yeah.
But I like it just now because it feels realistic to me that after everything that happened in season 1, that this would come up, that he would be called into question, that there would be problems with this.
No, I get it. And if there wasn't a pattern on the network, I wouldn't even question this. But it's okay. I see this scene and I feel like, okay, this is planting the seeds to, okay, we can save that runtime. We can cut away from the school stuff.
I could see him almost getting a job at another school, or I could see him doing something else that helps the community, or something.
I really hope so. I don't want it just to be forgotten about.
I think the one benefit this show has is that so much of it's about his family life and him helping the community that I feel like it won't shy away from that. It's equally as part of the show as it is him in the Black Lightning outfit.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think him helping the community in some way will be a part. Even if it's all volunteer work and it's like Lynn's the one actually making all the money for the house, whatever. But
the show would unequivocally suffer if they cut out this side of it to focus more on the superheroics. On
its own right now, though, him making this sacrifice is a really good character beat.
It makes sense. Yeah,
it's a really good character beat for him.
It is.
I'm not trying to save my job, I'm trying to save the school, and he kind of stands up and proves that. And he's not happy about it. He looks, heartbroken that he has to do this, but he's willing to do it. So we mentioned the pod people, families who know their kids were taken, however many, much time ago. They are not being given their family members back. They've been held captive essentially by the government because of their situation, and they want to sue the government, and that'll cost a ridiculous sum of money. And I have to. That was something actually I mentioned on Flash about Barry being hypocritical. I thought that Jefferson was being hypocritical at points in this episode, but not in a poor writing way, in a way that made sense, in a way that the characters kind
of... As a flawed character.
Yeah, and the way that the other characters kind of called him out on it. At least his wife did. Nessa didn't so much, but he was being hypocritical with her as well. Where he was, because and the way it really stuck home for me is that he makes some points about, okay, you have to let the justice system take over, and once we've beat up the bad guys and let them try, and otherwise there'll be no lasting change. And he kind of has a point that there's truth to this to an extent, but then he immediately follows it up with, her one priority right now is the demise of Tobias Whale, and then he walks off, and I went, yeah, because you're not tunnel visioned at
you're
all.
Not obsessed.
Yeah. Come on, Jefferson. Come on, man.
Yeah. So you definitely don't have a thing for him after he killed your dad.
Yeah, and then it was the same with Lynn, where he was like, no, it's too dangerous, you should stay away from the pod people. And she's like, wait, you go out into the streets and fight crime every night. I want to use what I know in my superpower, which is my medical experience, to help these people in different ways. I want to go and do my version of what you do. Yeah. You can't tell me not to do that. How many years have I told you not to go and fight crime?
Yeah, I mean, they split up for a long time over it.
And she's come to accept it. Over the season 1, she came to accept it, and so he's been a bit of a hypocrite, and she calls him out on it. And I don't know if he is completely aware of that yet, but he's certainly on a path where he's becoming more self-aware of his own issues. Yeah,
over the season. Yeah.
So right now it feels like the good writing of a flawed character rather than
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We open the episode with a character being killed by the police, not shot actually, just strangled out.
Yeah.
And there's another report during the episode of someone being shot, but we see at his funeral, because obviously it's fine at the start. It's like, okay, right, we're setting up the political stuff again and tying it into the drug and the meta powers, right? Okay, so we're doing all that, but we actually go to his funeral later on, and we see him wake up. He gets back up out the body bag, and so clearly he can resurrect in some capacity.
Yeah.
But he also seems to have this ability where he makes people speak their unspoken truth, that they even themselves might not be aware that they feel that way. Because he makes his mother say these awful things about staying away from her. No, you're a freak. I was relieved when you were killed.
Glad you were dead, because it meant I didn't have to worry about you getting hooked on the drugs.
Yeah. It was like the shameful relief she felt that, because it's this understandable thing where obviously she's devastated, she doesn't want him to die, but the one slightest of slight silver linings that she feels guilty for feeling is that at least I don't have to worry about him anymore in a really sort of human way. And but he runs off, of course, and he's on the run, and we see that he's out there. Speaking of on the run, Khalil does text Jennifer, and she's just kind of ignoring him right now, although I assume she's going to respond to him at some point.
Yeah, he's left a few voicemails being like, hey, that wasn't really me.
Yeah, don't fall for it, Jen. Please don't. You're smarter than this. Don't do it.
We hope.
Yeah. And of course, the money problem for the people, the families of the pod people, Nissa takes it upon herself to raid some drug dealer houses. And
which is where we get our hallway fight.
Yeah, she comes in with, she's got a mask over her face and she's got her hood up, and she's just beating the shit out of guys. And again, good pacing. At one point, she's getting beat up a little bit they've got weapons, and she powers up and throws a guy into the wall, and it's got a really good pace to it. It's got a really good sense of style, and it's one of the things where it doesn't have to be like Flash and Supergirl levels of action to be good action. If it's just well shot hand-to-hand combat, that can be arguably even better if it's well done. Because
I would say so, because it's less relying on effects, and the Flash and Supergirl rely on the concept of the set piece.
Yes, and that's good as well.
Technical execution,
but technical execution, of course, is a big part of it. And my only critique really is that at one point she blocks some bullets with her arm, and I'm like, why is there not bullet holes in the outfit? Why is her sleeve not got holes in it?
Yeah,
I guess
they'll
give me it's like a force field over her, it's like an inch thick or something like that.
Yeah, I think they told us that last season. But
maybe it felt weird.
Yeah,
because at least when it's like Superman, I'm like, okay, well, it's Kryptonian fabric, whatever. But
do you know what the thing is as well? Like, if they tell me, there's a little layer, when it's tight clothing, I can accept it. It's a hoodie though. It's pretty baggy.
Yeah,
that's a pretty thick protective shield.
But it's just such a regular hoodie. It looked even stranger because it's just regular clothes. Like, why is there no holes in it? But and we see at the end she's done at least another one because she's got another bag full of money, and she's walking in just giving it to the church. She's like, "Hey, here's some money."
Yep. There's a lot less Gamby in this episode than we had last season.
I think it's just calm before the storm.
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
seem to be kind of up to his old tricks already, though, because obviously, Kara comes to see him,
Mm-hmm.
and he asks what's in the briefcase, and she does tell him. And
Actually, I don't know. You may be misreading this.
do you think?
Yeah, because she just says hell, which doesn't really tell him anything. I don't think.
Okay. I thought the way he reacted, it felt like he knew what she was talking about. Like it was something specific that they'd know.
I get why you say that, but later on when he said she wasn't telling, I just kind of took that earlier scene as she's implying it's really bad, but she doesn't.
Okay, see, to me, it was maybe this is just a crossing of the scenes here. Is
Yeah.
the first time it felt like he reacted like, okay, he knows what she's referring to. It's something specific that being in the same job they'd know about, but he's not ready to tell Jefferson that exactly yet. So he's like, okay, she's not telling me yet, but it's probably bad.
If you turn out to be right, then fair play. But I didn't get that. At least from the scene with Jefferson, I had no reason for him to lie. There was no implication to me that he felt the need to.
I just thought, oh, it's more of his agent stuff. He's keeping it to himself for now. Again, because that's all he did all last season. So I thought, okay, it wouldn't surprise me if he's still doing that because he's not just going to fix as a character overnight.
I think he's. I'd like to think he's over that though, because that was his season 1 plot. I'd like to think that we're moving on to other things. To me, that scene felt more like, no, this is how honest he is with Jefferson now, because he immediately said, "Hey, here, this woman came by. Here's who she is. This is what she wanted. This is what we're dealing with."
I hope you're right on this one. I do actually. I think maybe it's just the way the scenes were played. Kind of a bit mixed messaging.
I'll tell you what I liked actually. Just in a sort of, again going back to the consequences of the season 1 finale. I liked it when they're trying to convince. It's just when Lynn's trying to convince Nissa. Not Nissa, sorry. When she's trying to convince Jennifer to try and accept her powers and talk about what she's going through, and she's like, "Hey, it's okay. Like we'll try and get through this." And Jennifer just this is when she gets angry and she hurts her a little bit. She actually blasts on the shoulder by accident, and then Lynn looks terrified.
She looks terrified, yeah.
And what I like about that scene is that she looks terrified. That hurts Jennifer a lot. And then 2 seconds later, Lynn realizes what she just did with her reaction and immediately tries to call after her because she realizes that her reaction just hurt her feelings, and she tries to make her feel better. But what I liked about that scene is that before she blasts her mum by accident in the shoulder, she says, "Well, why are we not talking about everything that happened? Why are we not talking about the fact that we saw Gambi shoot someone, point blank? Why are we not talking about the fact that I electrocute someone who might be dead from that? Why are we not talking about the fact that you were shotgunning people left and right at the end of that?" She actually brings it up like, "Yeah, this is serious trauma. We're all screwed up. This is we went through a big deal."
It's why Lynn wants to get them therapists.
Yes, exactly. So I again, it's a bit more just down to earth, and then it treats it like, no, we all went through some serious shit. We should probably talk about this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'll be something that kind of changes a bit over time, where the more serious shit they go through, they can't react to it as severely every time. But here on early days, I like that this is how they're reacting to it. That this is not normal. Definitely. This is weird.
Yeah.
So yeah. So as funny as Ralph is in The Flash, I don't think anything in any of these shows has made me laugh as much as Jennifer's sex dinner scene last season. I just want to point that out. That's still the winner of the
fair enough
of the comedy out of this entire set of shows. And Legends has made me laugh a lot with a variety of different things, and far more often. But this had that scene.
Legends has had me more.
Absolutely.
Legends has had me laughing more individually. Still.
All right, okay.
I'm thinking Nate on the acid trip, for example.
No, it was great, but it was not as unexpected as that scene was.
It wasn't as unexpected, but it had me laughing more.
Comedy for me is more effective, like a good twist. If I don't see it coming, that's when it gets me.
Yeah, okay.
That's when it gets me. If I see it coming, it can still be funny because the anticipation can sometimes be part of the fun. But
yeah, it's the build and then the payoff that makes it so funny for me.
But if you blindside me and then you keep ramping it up after you blindside me, like that scene did.
No, that's fair enough.
You got me in a place. But so at the end of the show, we typically pick our favorite episode, which is only we'll get 2 to pick from this week, which is kind of weird, but
but I mean, it's weird to be doing it again. We haven't done it since May.
And Joe, what's the weirdest thing about it as well is that I feel like they're both solid episodes. Like Black Lightning was very good and very consistent to what it'd been in season 1, and I liked everything it did. Flash almost gets the win for me though, just because it was surprisingly good. Not because it was necessarily better than Black Lightning, just because it was this was actually good.
I agree. Objectively, Black Lightning might be the better episode. It's probably the better show all round in terms of what it's doing, its quality, its writing. But like you say, I went into Flash kind of going, all right, I suppose I'll watch Flash, get it over and done with. And then I came out going, okay, I'm in for the season now.
Yeah.
Don't ruin this.
It was good. So, but no, I mean, this is a positive start to the seasons because we've had 2 solid premieres.
We're 2 for 2, yeah.
So hopefully next week, again, it'll be a little bit later because Carl's on vacation, probably Saturday or Sunday.
Next week it tanks.
Well, no, Supergirl should hopefully have a good opener.
Yeah, but then we've got Arrow and Titans.
Hey, Titans could surprise us.
Good, but I'm not ready to be prepared for that.
Hey, Felicity's got pink highlights in her hair. That's going to be the best season of Arrow ever.
Just breathe.
What's the villain's name again that we hate? I've forgotten his name.
It's Dragon, but...
Oh, it's the Dragon. Oh, Richard the Dragon. Richard Dragon?
Richard Dragon, yeah.
Ricardo Dragon? I don't know.
Yeah, the Dragon, but is it Ricardo...
Diaz.
Yeah?
Oh, God.
Ugh, what a prick.
No Rosa Diaz, I'll tell you that much.
No,
she's way better. She's way scarier as well.
Oh, man, if she was the villain,
oh man,
that's one I'd want back.
Oh, God. That Arrow would suddenly be the best show out of the whole bunch if Rosa Diaz, in character as Rosa Diaz, was the villain in the next season of Arrow. Oh, dear. And they try and like solve her and track her down, but she's got so many aliases and so many hideouts and homes.
And just so many knives.
They never could, yeah. Yeah, that'll be her thing. She's Knife Lady.
See, we just made Arrow like 1,000,000 times better.
Yeah, just steal a much better character from a much better show and put them in it. There you go.
Yeah. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that's the show. We actually got to about an hour anyway, just because we had so much to say in the Flash opener. But it was a solid 2 premieres. Good start to the season for the new shows. And we'll see you next week again a little bit later because Carl's on vacation. And that'll have the first Titans. It'll have the first episode of Supergirl and the first episode of Arrow, along with episode 2 of Black Lightning and Flash. That'll be next week, so you can look forward to that. And if that does happen to be after the second Titans goes out, don't worry, that'll just be in the next one, and then from there we'll be going up. We'll actually be going up after that on the day of the new Titans going up, so it'll be kind of awkward for Titans. Titans will always be almost like a full week late by the time you get the episode.
Yeah, blame the CW.
There has to be a cut off though. There has to be a part of the week where that's the end of our week and that's where we do the episode.
Yeah.
So that's just where it falls. What's funny though is I imagine that when the other shows come on the DC Universe, they'll all be Friday, just because. Yeah. Why wouldn't they be?
That's the streaming service day, isn't it?
Yeah. Couldn't I put it on like a
Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday would have been good. Yeah. Hey, what are you going to do? That is being the first episode of the new season of television from the multiverse. Not that we're renumbering it like that. This is still episode like 48 or something. I don't know what we're on.
Yeah. We don't relaunch till like 100.
Do we? Why are we relaunching at all?
Because comics.
But that is us. So let us know what you thought of the episodes in the comments, like and subscribe, all the usual stuff. If you want to support the show and the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv. You can do that over there. Get some bonuses, get some stuff early, so on and so forth. All good stuff. We love you loads. Check out the other stuff we do. Of course, if you're new, if you're just catching this show now for the first time because it's a new season, we do a DC Comics podcast called Comics from the Multiverse where we talk about DC Comics every week. There's 2 of us plus Matt on that show, so check out that.
Also due a renumbering at some point.
Never. We are never renumbering. When we hit 1,000 on that show, it'll mean something because it's been
all I'm
straight
saying
through.
Is we're at like what 130ish now.
124 was the last episode, I believe.
So what we need to do is we need to kind of go, all right, 125, and then go back to volume 2, number 1, and then when we get to up to 74 of that, and then we're back to 200.
No, not doing it. I'm never doing it. We're going to have consistent numbering all the way through until the show is done because at least 2 of us are dead.
Thrilling.
Or blind. You can't read comics if you're blind, I suppose, so you could just be blind.
So the worst part is,
yeah.
I'm far too tired to even argue that right now.
Alright, let's let Cara get some sleep. He's on vacation tomorrow. He's got a plane trip to get. So yes. So look forward to more new first episodes and new seasons and stuff next week. But that is us. Thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching superhero TV shows and other cape and glory nonsense. And always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.